Siguro sa settings mo.
Manay.
Yunnan, China, September 2025. It all began with a dam collapse, triggered by the heaviest rainfall Yunnan had seen in more than 10 years. In an instant, the province was thrown into chaos. What made it worse was that the rain didn't come alone. It was powered by the fading remnants of Typhoon Kajaki and a strong monsoonal system. Together, they unleashed raging torrents across the land. Roads vanished under the water, transportation broke down, and mass evacuations couldn't be avoided. The province's infrastructure gave way under the crushing surge, leaving communities stranded and exposing serious weaknesses in Yunnan's flood defenses. In just a single hour, rainfall hit shocking levels in certain places. In Chiang District alone, 68.2 millimeters of rain fell in only 60 minutes, and other cities suffered equally heavy downpours. The Union Meteorological Bureau didn't wait long. They quickly issued a blue rainstorm alert early that morning, warning everyone of the serious danger. As the relentless rain continued, highways turned into rivers, neighborhoods were swallowed up, and subway systems were knocked out. Even with the recent Sponge City upgrades, drainage systems and culverts couldn't handle the pressure. The entire province was left scrambling. Authorities ordered people out of the valleys and low-lying areas, especially where landslides and flash floods were most likely to hit. Fire crews, health teams, and transport divisions rushed in, doing whatever they could to protect residents and contain the growing threats. Through the night, teams worked non-stop, pumping water off streets, pulling families out of flooded homes, and watching over slopes at risk of mudslides. At the same time, warnings went out telling citizens to stay clear of underpasses, submerged roads, and dangerous floodwaters that could hide unseen risks. Transportation in Yunnan came to a complete stop. Flights were delayed for hours and subway lines had to shut down as tunnels filled with water. Getting around the province became almost impossible. Over 10,000 people were forced to evacuate within Yunnan itself, and thousands more had to leave from surrounding provinces. The disaster revealed just how fragile the infrastructure really was when pushed by increasingly extreme weather. But it didn't stop there. The storm system stretched far beyond Yunnan, spreading into central and southwestern China. In Guizhou and Sichuan provinces, more than 25 rivers rose above safe limits, smashing historic flood records that had stood for decades. The Chichi River in Gu surged to its highest level since 1953. In Sichuan, the Shawa River climbed to a height not seen in 29 years. According to state media, more than 80,000 people had to be relocated across both provinces. Officials warned that the danger wasn't over. Levees could still break, dams were under stress, and more rivers threatened to overflow. Experts pointed to the strange mix of weather behind the disaster: monsoonal moisture, remnants of a typhoon, and the wider backdrop of intensifying climate extremes. Meteorologists warn that convergent weather zones, where tropical moisture crashes into inland systems, are only going to get stronger as the world warms. That means inland cities not used to this kind of tropical force rain are now facing a bigger risk. To make matters worse, the floods hit right after a long, suffocating heat wave that had already stretched emergency services thin. Public health officials added even more warnings, this time about food and water contamination in the affected regions. People were told to boil water before using it, to avoid touching floodwaters directly, and to report any signs of illness right away. With the air sticky from high humidity and temperatures still soaring after the rain, the chances of waterborne disease spreading were expected to rise. Forecasts showed the rain wouldn't stop until August 29th, keeping everyone on edge. Authorities stayed on high alert, watching for fresh floods in rural and hillside regions where runoff could easily spark new landslides or flash floods. Residents were told to follow every update from the Union Meteorological Bureau and listen to local emergency announcements. Provincial leaders promised to keep rescue operations going and provide live updates as the disaster continued. This flooding in Yunnan became part of a much larger chain of weather crises sweeping across China that summer. Cities from Guangzhou to Chongqing braced for even more rain, a sign of how difficult it has become for urban areas to withstand climate-driven extremes. As Yunnan endured one of its most destructive floods in decades, the images of drowned neighborhoods, collapsed dams, and displaced families showed how even the most well-prepared regions can be left vulnerable in the face of nature's extremes.